Hey, my name is Troels and welcome to Soundpaint. In the video today, we're going to go through slams. This is one of our libraries for our hybrid cinema series, and it's all about the slams, the whams, the swooshes, the swoosh slams. And even though that might sound like, okay, we've been there before, you can do that with many different libraries and all that stuff, you can actually do many other unslammy things with this library as well. As you'll see, I really like to use it as a rhythmic tool, and it's one of those sort of new things that come alive inside of Soundpaint, that you can either morph the sounds in real time, you can put them into the Arpeggiator, and because of that sort of percussive nature with slams, you can actually make amazing hybrid rhythms as well. So, welcome to Hybrid Cinema, welcome to slams. The slams are organized in three different categories. You have drum slams, you have synth slams, and you have percussive slams. Right now, let me just show you the percussive slams. The library is organized in a way that you have unique samples on the keys here, so for every key I play, I'm gonna get a new sound. So as you can see, there's unique samples on every single key, and that's one of the tools you can do for rhythmic building as well. But I mean, even standalone, these sounds are like. One measure that I always sort of value my hybrid sounds in is how clean are they. It's not so difficult to make something that's big and distorted and reverby, but how do you make something that's super clean and doesn't sort of apply the normal techniques in terms of reverbs and all the granular tools, but they're just super clean and really well produced on their own. I mean, that sound. And let me load the drum slams here as well. So we just listened to the percussion, and now it's all about the drums. The drum slams, the slam drums. I mean, that one, it's like a metal bar with the fattest subwoofer underneath. I fucking love it. Yeah, you hear that? Little bit of a tonal boomer on the end. So to me, I can hear there's almost like a drum kit going on here. Let me just try to turn on the Arpeggiator and make something completely random here. So I really try to listen for like, where's the musicality in this randomness? So I like to sometimes just use randomness and then sort of just dial it in Soundpaint until I feel I have something cohesive. Let me try to reflect a little more on that. Let me just show you a couple of the Arpeggiators that are using this very technique as well. Everything is just stacked up in these random sequences. And then I'll just go in and duck the volume in the Arp just to find rhythms and new unexplored sonic material. And you'll notice in the rack system here that I put the pitch bender to 12, both going up and down. I really sometimes love to have that sort of full sculptability, if that's a word that exists. We also have these amazing swoosh slams. So in the library, it's not just that you have your normal sort of slam, it's also sometimes you have a swoosh slam. Check it out. And that's where you get this awesome sound. I know some of you guys have requested this one in particular. And it's so cool because it has sort of a racing car, interstellar, super exploding, quantum dimensional vibe to it. And let's say that you want to get rid of that initial swoosh. You'll go in here to your rack, you'll click on offset, and then you go into the offset here and move it up a little bit. You can hear I'm sort of going into the sample. So all of a sudden now we only have the hit instead of. So it can be a cool way to dial things in. And if you really want to get microscopic, you can go down here. Also check this one here called Electro. I mean, that right there. We don't need anymore. Oh, this one too, it's like kind of like if there is such a style as epic funk, this is what it would sound like. What's that? Ooh, that's coming from the synthesizers. Let me just shut the percussion up here for a second. Isn't that cool? Hear that tail? So these are slams made with synthesizers. They have a more sort of electronic quality to them. This one too. Like several synthesizers moving, slightly drifting. Some are going down, some are just going more like phasey. Such a cool sound. Also think, if I recall right, up here there should be some really like hardcore bit resolutions. Yeah. Let's just add a little more bit resolution. This is probably going to sound crappy, but sometimes it's fun just to push it. Holy, that's actually... Yeah. I mean, that sound. So you can see, at least in my musical interpretation or lack thereof, that this library, it's not just slams, it's a rhythmic tool, and there's so much you could do when you have all these different super samples laid out here. And I think sometimes also, let's not count the samples too much. And we are guilty of that with our 10, 20, 30, 100,000 sample libraries as well. But in hybrid libraries, it's all about the quality of the individual sound, and that you got here. Let's try another ARP here. Let's try another one here. I love using delays. If you look here, you're going to see two different BPD delays side by side, really creating a lot of momentum in the sound. And if you notice here, this is a cool trick. If you want to get into delays, I like to sometimes enhance certain frequencies in them. One of the beautiful things about the BPD is that the signal gradually degrades. You can start to hear it. And sometimes I like to enhance that degrade. You do that by going down here to the gain and the tone. The tone will make it more treble when you move it right and more sort of bassy when you move it down. But I like to give it a little extra on the tone side. It's those sounds. And they just help create like a more sort of sexy rhythmic texture. It's cool. Whip me. It's cool sometimes, you know, I like to just, how can I explain this? For me, there's one thing about music that I wish we talked more about, and that's the notion of whether we are outside or inside the music. For me, when I work with instruments, I try to listen to what instrument are you telling me? What is your story? So when we load something up here, let me just load a completely random patch and try to do that sort of random thing again. It's really just an exercise of letting my ear telling me where to go and try to strip my intellect in the process. I feel sometimes if I overthink it, and I often do, I don't necessarily land in the same great place. But if I allow myself to just go deep into the music and see and be with the music from the inside, it really helps sort of the overall sonic projection in the end. Because I was there, I was listening to what the instrument was trying to tell me and then trying to communicate back in the most fluid way you can. Sometimes randomness can be an excellent way of carving out your tree because it's completely just musical crap, and out of that we can start carving something cool. Let's give it one more try. this. Here's the Deathwish. My God. Derek, of course you took my favorite sound and just made it fucking like... Like for me, this one is trying to tell me like, it has sort of that. That's a part of what I would characterize if this was an instrument in the classic sense. Like, what are you telling me? You're telling me you got a lot of balls in the beginning, and then you got a nice slam, and I have to follow that curve with sculpting to really make it effective. So sounds can be instruments as well, at least in my ear, and I try to sort of eliminate my pretentious notions of what constitutes an instrument and what does not. Everything is an instrument. I mean, anything that can vibrate is an instrument. I guess I should fulfill that dream in its fullest version. But this Electro one here, maybe my favorite program in the library. You know, even that sound in the very end, that just that. Let's isolate that one. And right now you have a soft boomer all over your keyboard. You know, I never thought I was going to be talking about slams for such a long duration, but here we are. And maybe this is one of the things about Soundpaint. I don't know about you, but for me, I sometimes just like fall into small rabbit holes of fascination because the engine is so fast and free to use. I can just sort of express myself at an instrumental level. It's so easy to sculpt the instruments that way. So anyway, thank you so much for watching. Hope to see you in the next one. You and you and you and you. Should I get a fifth camera, or am I completely losing it? How many cameras should a real YouTuber have? I have you and you and you and you, but it's kind of starting not to make sense anymore, right? It's starting to get a little bit insane because like we're just demonstrating samples here. Yeah, what do you think? But it's super good for my neck having these cameras. I feel like I get more exercise when I record, better than just staring at you all the time, right?